Hello, this is Christine Deal, and I'm just going to give a little introduction of the course. Welcome to NU 442 and Canvas. Let's see here. So we'll start up here. So here's the home page, and then there's the introduction and welcome, getting started, just some information. This is where you'll find the syllabus. Okay, and if you click on the syllabus, you'll see, oopsie, let me just, okay. Then you'll have all the information. The recommended text is stated there, and then all of the outcomes and such. The course intended learning outcomes are there, the methods of instruction. This is all online, and there will be some experiential learning with service learning, and you've got also a community assessment project in this course and an education outreach brochure, which involves collaborating and communicating with an agency to identify any educational needs of the people that they serve. Okay, methods of grading. This is a pass-fail course, but you do need 73% to pass, and you also need to complete every component of what's required. So you can't omit an assignment. You have to have all those completed. So the total course is 90 hours for a total of 625 points. Okay, and then here are some due dates. Your first assignment is going to be due May 29th, where you introduce yourself. It's also a way we take roll. There's information on the service learning project. There's 24 hours of service learning in settings that promote human health or wellness. Now, we understand with COVID that may be a little bit tricky. We don't know where we're really going to be as the summer progresses, but we'll do other we'll put other options up there for you as well. But whether it could be just helping out with wellness phone calls or distributing food to the schools, because school children still need their lunches, things such as that nature, or creating sewing masks. There are 10 hours of disaster preparedness. Okay, there's one that is Nurses on the Front Line is 5 hours of those, and that's located within this course. But then you'll have to do 5 additional hours of disaster preparedness learning. And we've got some sites for that too. Some options. Here's some options: triage, answer calls, volunteer, serve on a committee at a facility that you work in. So really, anything will contribute to that. Every week, you're to submit a journal. That's a way we can keep track of what you're doing and how you're progressing. And also, if you have any questions, you can also address it in the journal. But this is just a way that we know weekly where you all are at, and then we know if we need to get a hold of you to see if we can help you with identifying some service learning that you can do. Okay, and then you have the evidence-based practice community assessment project. Okay, and that is separated out in stages. There's an online roundtable discussion. Okay, that's due more at the end of the course, and you have a choice of these. And there's under the assignment section in Canvas, you'll see the details for that. Then here's your education outreach, which is 16 hours. You don't actually have to do this, but you have to. The 16 hours includes meeting with its public health department, community health clinic, a parish clinic, homeless shelter, a free clinic, meeting with the nurse manager there, and discussing what educational needs there are, and then doing the research and creating a brochure. Now, a brochure is not the same thing as an infographic that you did in 440. It's more information, it's longer, it's bigger, and so it's an informational brochure. You don't have to actually teach the information, but you create a brochure and then you submit it to the agency that you're working with, and they can choose whether to use it or not in their agency. But we just figure that the time it takes to put all that together is 16 hours. Okay, so So now that is the syllabus. Let me get out of here. Okay. Alrighty, and then there's a course schedule. Okay, and you just click on that, and you can see when things are due. Okay, and then let's see here. And there's just a link to the handbook just for your general information resources. Here's the orientation quiz. It's due June 7th. It's worth, well, I believe that, oh yeah, 15 points here. Service learning objectives and requirements. You just click on that, and it just tells you all about what's required there and about choosing a site. And you can also click on these little next buttons, and it will get you to the next section in the module. So, like for example, the disaster preparedness for nurses on the front line. So you would click on this, and then you have to, where is that? Okay, oh, and then click on the blue here, and then you have to log in. So you'll create a login, and then you'll be able to access it. Okay, and I already tried this. This just should work because I was able to get in. But you have to create an account, and then you can get in, and it's free. Okay, so let me just go back. Go to next. So you can click these next buttons. Okay, and then this is where you would submit your certificate for completing that. So you can do these next buttons. Here's volunteer for the Medical Reserve Corps. This is just a website for you if you want to choose to do this for your extra 5 hours of disaster preparedness. So you just click on that. Let me go back to let me just go to modules here. So this is where you get to your main course, and you could either hit the next button and go to each next section, or you could go to this modules, and you'll see everything that we've gone over, and it's all right there, and you just click on what you need. Okay, and then really good during and after disaster. That's a good another intended on another thing that you can watch. Okay, emergency preparedness. So there's lots of good resources within here. Okay, go back to modules. Okay, clinical activities journal. There's the template for the journal and submitting that. Now, if you don't have anything to submit for the week, if you don't have anything to write, just submit something that says no new activity, just so we know, and then maybe what you have planned coming up, like no new activity this week, but on Monday I'm going to be meeting with this person. Okay, just so we can really, because this is only an 11-week course, and this is just a really good way to keep track of what your schedules are and things that you're doing in your plans. So there's a template that you can use to type your information on. And then of course, there's a submission. Here's all the information for the Community Assess project. Okay, and then it's a step-by-step. So, you have certain dates where you identify the community you're going to work with, you define your PICO question, your windshield survey, which can be a geographic or a non-geographic windshield survey, depending on what community you're doing. Literature review table, and it also has an example. See, this is kind of nice. So see, here's the table for it. See, there you go, and it just tells you what to do. You summarize the article, and then there's an example. Let me get out of this one. And then there's a sample, so you know exactly what we're looking for with your literature review. See, so the title. What kind of research it is, the purpose of it, the design, okay, and then results and findings, limitations. It's supposed to support your PICO question and support your topic that you're going with, or your project that you're going to go with your chosen population. Okay, Alrighty, so let's go back to, I just like to always go back to modules because it's a quick visual and I can click on what I want here. So this is where we were, okay? And then the same thing for the windshield survey, literature review table we just went over, student developed survey. So you will create a survey tool to use. You'll submit a survey and I'll give you feedback on that survey, and you need to make sure that you correct the feedback that's been given before you distribute it to your community. So it's worth 50 points. You do have the option of redeeming some points, but make sure that you don't distribute the survey without getting that instructor feedback and then submitting it to me via email for the final review and the okay to get it distributed. Okay, and then after that, you'll have an analysis of your data, and you don't have to have, you might not get very much back. Okay, even before COVID, there weren't a lot of surveys that were returned, and now it might be even more difficult to get a lot of surveys. But if you get 9 or 10 surveys returned, that's good, and you can still just say, remember, this is just a process. You're learning how to do a process. So I know that 9 is not enough for a sample size to really get an accurate research thing going, but it gives you something to work on in your community based on the responses, and you can always just identify the shortcomings of it, that there were few responses, but based on the national data and also the local data, it is in my survey, it is evident that this community would benefit from this intervention. Okay, is an example. And then you're going to do the design of intervention, which of course you click on everything and it identifies everything that you need. Okay, all the step-by-step what you need to do for the assignment. Oh, darn it. Let's see here. Let me get back in here. Oh, okay. Alrighty, well, sorry about that. So, okay, so here is where we left off. Okay, so I'm sorry, I had to get back in here. So then if you just click on each one of these things, it gives a detailed identification of what is expected for each thing for each of your assignments. Okay, and then and then at the end for the evaluation, there's a practicum assessment tool template. Okay, and you just click on that and then type on that. You download it and type on it. And you need to identify how you met the each criteria on that assessment tool. Okay, and then you would submit that for 25 points. And then here are just some other resources that would be helpful for you. Healthy People 2020, risk factor surveillance, community guide, APA help. So if you can't remember how to do APA citations or a reference page, there's the resource there for you, tips and examples, and then tips for organizing tasks. So tips to keep your task on task. So that's pretty handy there. So like write in your day planner, whatever you have, calendar, when is it due, break it out into parts and break it out into tasks. And because you're pretty much going to have something due every week because this is a short summer course. Okay, and then if you're doing something in a group, some projects you can do group work with the community project, but make sure that you have an estimated amount of time needed for the task. Okay, and who's involved in what task. Okay, break it out into parts. So anyway, as a group, share what each of you have for the parts and tasks and estimated timelines. Okay, and we ask that you just stay in a group within the same course number, because there are other instructors that are teaching it, and it just makes it a lot simpler when we have one instructor giving all the feedback. Okay. Alrighty, so if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to email me or call me or text me. All my information is listed there in the syllabus and in the instructor information. I look forward to a good summer. This is a fun course. There's a lot of interesting things that you can do in the community, and it doesn't necessarily have to be, nursing related. If you help out at if your church, you do any service at the schools, it's community involvement. Okay, so anyway, I look forward to meeting you, working with all of you this summer, and please, again, just let me know if you have any questions. My name is Christine Deal, and I will be reaching out to y'all soon. Thank you.